Okay, what we're going to look at now is what we call the order of operations. And remember, in the last video, we said that operations means the things that we do to numbers. So for now, you have multiply, divide, plus, and minus. Okay, and we talked about those in the last video, different ways of saying them all. Now, when we have a sum, and a sum just means a collection of maths, a collection of things, there's a particular order that we need to do these in. And in English, we have a nice little saying that we can use in order to remember this order that we have to do these in, okay? The thing that we use to remember this is what we call BIMDAS. BIMDAS. And you might see it written in a few different ways. Some people say BOMDAS or BODMAS or PEMDAS or PIMDAS, all kinds of things, but we're going to use BIMDAS, okay? And that is BIMDAS. And for the moment, some of these you won't be using, but I'd still like to talk to you about it because they're going to be important for later. So B stands for brackets. So that means when you see brackets in a sum, and that's these things, when you see brackets, we always start with what's between the brackets. So what's between the brackets always comes first. The I stands for indices or index. Okay, and you might have seen that before with, for example, 3 squared. Okay, that little squared, this is an index. Okay, and 3 squared, we know that means 3 times 3, and you'll see I use that multiplication dot, which is 9. So that's an index. M means multiply or multiplication. Okay, that you know is your times, or the multiplication dot. It's a bit hard to draw here. D is divide. Okay, and remember we actually write that usually as a bar. So for example, 5/2. Okay, that is divide. A means add or addition. That's plus. And S means, let's find a nice color, orange, subtract or minus. Okay, and this is what we call BIMDAS. So that means when you look at a sum, when you look at a sum, a line of numbers and operations, you need to use this to know which order we're going to do things in. So for example, if I have 10 minus 2 times 4. Okay, so we can look at this and we go through our list and we see what the order is that we do this in. Now, as I said to you in the last video, it's also really important that we write things correctly when we do maths. So we're going to start, every time we start something new, every time we write equals, we're going to start a new line. So you should always begin the line with an equals, because we're saying the first line is equal to what's on the second line. They have the same value. Okay, so we have here 10 minus 2 times 4. Now, we can go through our list. Are there any brackets in there? No, so we don't have to worry about that. Is there an index? Do we have any squareds? No. Okay, do we have multiply? Yes, we do. Okay, and you guys can see here that we have 2 times 4. Okay, so this is the multiply that we're going to start with. Now, one thing I see a lot of people writing is they will now write 2 times 4 equals 8. Or 2 times 4 equals 8 minus 10, or something crazy like this. Now, this doesn't equal each other, so you have to be careful here. What we're actually going to do is we're going to start with the 10, because the 10 hasn't changed. We're only doing the multiply right now. So we're going to start by writing 10 minus, and 2 times 4 we know is 8. We don't have to write 2 times 4 separately, okay? I don't want to see anybody writing 2 times 4 equals 8 anywhere. So this is a big no, okay? We know that you know 2 times 4 is 8. That we can see. So as long as you replace the 8 replace the 2 times 4 with 8. That's enough. You don't have to write it all out. Okay, so our answer here is 10 minus 8, because minus is the next thing. We don't have any division or addition, so we just have an answer of 2. Okay, so this is how BIMDAS works. We're going to go through a few examples so that you can see how order of operations works. So if I have 7 plus 6 minus 10 divided by 2. Let's have a look at this one. So for most of them at the moment, you won't have an index. So we can pretty much skip the index line, and we're not going to have many with brackets, but you might see some. Okay, so let's have a look. We have here 7 plus 6 minus 10 divided by 2. There's no brackets, there's no index, there's no multiply, but we do have divide. Okay, we have a division here. You can see that here with the 10 divided by 2. So that's what we're going to do first. We're not going to do anything else to start with. So start with an equals on the line. The 7 plus 6 is going to stay as it is, 7 plus 6. Okay, we can't do anything else with that right now. Okay, then the 10 divided by 2 we're going to replace on the next line with what the value is of 10 divided by 2. And 10 divided by 2, you know, is 5. So it replaces 10 divided by 2. Okay, then on the next line, now we can look at the rest of BIMDAS. So after divide, the divide's gone. Now we just have add. Do we have addition? Yes, we do. Now, there's something a little bit special here. The multiply and divide is left to right. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's left to right. And the add and subtract is also left to right. They actually have the same value. Okay, you don't have to do add before subtract. You have to do them left to right. Okay, so here we're going to start with whatever's on the left, because all that we have left is addition and subtraction. On the left is 7 plus 6, so that's the first thing we're going to replace here. So 7 plus 6 is our first step. 7 plus 6 is 13, and then the minus 5 just stays like it is. Okay, now we can look at 13 minus 5. That's all that's left, and we know that we get an answer of 8. Okay, so this is how BIMDAS works. This is how the order of operations works. Remember, operations are those things we're doing here. Okay, and we're looking at the order, and it's really, really important that you practice this. It's also really important that you write things out properly and clearly on each line, that you don't just rush and write an answer down. If you're just writing answers down, you're probably going to make mistakes, and you also tend to lose marks on tests because we give calculation points. Okay, you don't just get a point for your answer, you get points for showing the steps in between as well. Okay, maybe it's a good idea if we try one with brackets just to finish off. So let's have a look at another one. 4 plus 3 in brackets times 2 minus 1. Okay, so if we go through BIMDAS for this one, you can see that B for brackets, that one comes first. And in this example, we have brackets. We have something in between brackets. And when we see brackets, that means we do what's in between. So in this example, in between the brackets is 4 plus 3. Now, if the brackets weren't there, we'll do that one as well. So if we had 4 plus 3 times 2 minus 1, we will do this as well afterwards to show you the difference that the brackets makes. So 4 plus 3 is equal to 7, and then we just keep the rest as it was. Okay, next thing in BIMDAS, B brackets, I index, no, M multiply. And you can see here we have multiplication. 7 times 2 is 14 minus 1. And then we have addition and subtraction. 14 minus 1 is equal to 13. All right, let's have a look at the one on the right. So we're going to do this again without brackets. So B for brackets, we don't have any. I for index, there's no index. N for multiply, in this case now we're going to do 3 times 2. So we're going to do that first. So we have 4 plus 3 times 2 is 6 minus 1. Okay, now we go from multiplication and division down to addition and subtraction. And again, this is left to right now. So firstly, we're going to start with the leftmost thing, and that is 4 plus 6. 4 plus 6 is 10 minus 1, and that's going to give us 9. Okay, so you can see that the brackets makes the answer different because it changes the order that we do the sums in. Okay, and this is super important. So this is the order of operations. Time for you to do some practice. Just please make sure you're writing things out properly and being very careful with your answers. Okay, this is what I want to see. This is how I expect you guys to do your work. Good luck.